Hello everyone, we are Team 15. Our other two members are not here because they're in the Wednesday section. But we are creating a wearable that diagnoses and treats opioid overdose, and you'll hear a lot about this already. You can hear a little more following slides. Our advisor is Dr. Ian Yuan. He is an anesthesiologist that works for Penn Hospital System. We communicate with him mostly through email. We communicate with each other mostly through Facebook Messenger, but we also have a Google Drive to organize our stuff. And so I guess the problem we're trying to solve is the fact that opioid overdose kills. Last year in Philadelphia, over 1,000 deaths, and it's important to recognize that all these people who are dying come from very different walks of life. There are many different reasons you can get addicted to opioids and many different reasons you can overdose. The thing that's a little bit shocking is that it's completely preventable as long as you can tell that it's happening. Some solutions that have been proposed to this is having people who are likely to overdose carry the Narcan, the drugs that will treat this disease with them, but when you're in a state of overdose, you're not in the best state of mind to actually treat yourself. Another treatment that's been proposed is having people that would be around others that are likely to overdose carry these drugs, but the problem you run into there is that there's not always someone around you when you're in a state of overdose. So clearly there's a need for better monitoring.
Yeah, and so the way we're going to solve this, our device is going to be injecting Narcan, but how does Narcan actually work? So when a person consumes opioids, the brain receptors are filled with the opioids and the breathing rate decreases. So what the Narcan is going to do is going to displace the opioid on the brain receptors and replaces with a Narcan, such that a person can return to the normal breathing rate, at least for a small period of time. And quick fact of naloxone or Narcan is that it only works for someone on opioids. It doesn't have any side effects, and it only takes 2 to 5 minutes to take effect, so it's completely harmless. Whether it's administered by mistake or not, it would never harm a person. And so the concept that we are going to do with the device is we're going to be able to track the breathing rate, the pulse rate, and possibly the oxygen level of the person, because we are going to consider this because a person might have a high breathing rate because they are maybe running or doing different activities, so we are going to be able to detect this, and we're going to be able to also detect false positives and false negatives and adverse the side effects.
Yeah, so basically a general flowchart for how this works is you want to detect your vital signs in a sort of loop and constantly ask the question, is this person in a state of overdose? If the answer is yes, you trigger an alarm. This is one of our fail-safes. If the alarm is manually disabled by the person who's in a state of overdose, this is going to be something that's a little bit tricky, like pressing 2 buttons at the same time, which you need to intentionally be doing. So if it's disabled, then it will not get injected. This is one fail-safe. And if it's not disabled, then you would want to, that would be the case for injecting. And this is basically stuff that will be implemented mostly by our electrical side of the project. So there are 2 sides of this project. Kevin and I are working on the mechanical side, and then our other 2 group members, who are Darsh and Gurdon, are going to be working on the mechanical side, or on the electrical side. But the electrical side, the way it's going to work is it's just a basic embedded systems framework. A lot of the same sensors and actuators that the last group has been talking about. We'll be measuring pulse. We might consider building a pulse oximeter. The microcontroller we're starting with is the Arduino. In the coming semester, we're going to want to scale that down so we don't use so much space and so that we can turn it into a wearable. And the way we anticipate testing this in the fall, at least, is to have like a large circuit, plug in like an oscilloscope and a couple other stuff so we can create our own signals and try to test like all the different use cases or all the different cases and make sure that our algorithm that determines this overdose is working properly.
Yeah, so talking more about the mechanical side, we're going to have a spring-loaded mechanism. So we have not yet decided of what the device is going to look like. It's either going to be an armband, a wrist watch, but there are different problems with that because you have to consider the areas on the body that can actually hold an injection and where the injection can work faster. So it's going to be spring-loaded and it's going to have a dose of the Narcan that's going to be a specific dose and it has to be automatically injected. And it's going to be probably having a needle, but it's going to be a very small microneedles that are currently on the market, and a system that automatically tells the spring to push so that it injects when the breathing rate and all other factors say that a person is suffering an overdose. And the good thing about this system is that it's not going to be painful at all. In fact, the person is not going to know whether it's being injected or not. That's our goal at least.
The way I guess we want to structure our getting through this project is by the end of this fall, we want like a full working circuit with backed by like a medically informed algorithm. And this does not need to be like compact yet, but we just want to have like something that, given the correct signals, it can detect overdose and tell our spring-loaded system whether to inject or not. In the spring, we want to work on making this smaller so that it can fit on a wearable. That'll involve custom PCBs. It'll involve more expensive sensors. But for the fall, our sensors and our Arduino stuff should not cost more than $100. So that's the budget we're looking at for now. On the mechanical side, I guess the problem of building like an injector in a very, very small compact space is a very tough one. The way we're looking to tackle this is to come up with like a wide variety of design ideas in this fall, and I guess evaluate pros and cons for a couple of different ones. We're going to be speaking to our advisor more about specific parameters such as like the force needed to puncture the skin, how far into the skin you need to get with specific needles, and that's going to inform the way we're going to design this. And then in the spring, we're going to make that smaller as well and put that into our wearable as well. So basically what this boils down to is right now this semester, we're looking to have the functionality, and next semester we're looking to boil it down and to make it something that's more of a product. And so yeah, that's what we've got. Thank you.